Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. A deployment of Marines coming from Twentynine Palms drove through Joshua Tree yesterday afternoon, heading for Los Angeles on orders from the federal government. Reporter Robert Hayden has the story.
An estimated 700 Marine Corps soldiers were deployed from Camp Pendleton and the Twentynine Palm Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center yesterday on orders from President Trump to, quote, stop Los Angeles from burning down. The Marines are expected to join the nearly 2,000 National Guard who have been deployed against the wishes of California Governor Gavin Newsom, who said the state would be pursuing legal action against the deployments, calling the president, quote, deranged and dictatorial. According to a statement from the U.S. Northern Command, the Marines are expected to integrate with National Guard troops who are, quote, protecting federal personnel and federal property in the greater Los Angeles area. Over the last 4 days, protests have grown in Los Angeles against Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, raids. On Saturday, ICE posted on social media network X that it had arrested 118 immigrants during operations in Los Angeles last week. Demonstrators took to the streets in Los Angeles, Paramount, Compton, and other neighborhoods where agents and law enforcement were spotted in marked and unmarked vehicles making arrests. Yesterday afternoon around 2 p.m. in Joshua Tree, a group of approximately 10 to 12 people gathered in the shade of the Mel Benson Real Estate Building on Park Boulevard and Highway 62. The group were creating signs after hearing that the Marines would be coming from the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center, located 15 miles east of Joshua Tree in neighboring Twentynine Palms. Shortly after 4 p.m., a man identifying himself as a representative of the property owner asked the group to leave the property. The small office has no trespassing signs on the window, and as the group moved across Highway 62 to the opposite corner, the property owner stayed on the phone with the sheriff's office and briefly spoke to Z107.7.
They want to protest it. I got no problem with that. Stand on the highway. Get hit by a car. I don't care. I'm not going to do it on my property. They're mad because the military's going? Okay, great. Be mad. But it doesn't give you the right to stand on people's property and do what you're doing.
The group held signs with messages like U.S. in distress, keep America free for everyone, and ICE, this is a moral moment.
And the purpose of taking a stand and standing out here in the heat, it may not seem like we're doing much, but we're not going on with business as usual. The cars are seeing it. We're right here by a national park. They're seeing it, that the people are not happy, and we're going to stand up in every town, everywhere.
Earlier in the afternoon, white buses were seen moving west towards Twentynine Palms, and as word spread that those same buses were heading back down Highway 62 towards Joshua Tree, the small but growing group moved back to the north side of the street, this time staying on the sidewalk. Around 5 p.m., the convoy of buses and military vehicles were escorted by CHP through the intersection. Some people in their cars on Highway 62 pulled over and shouted at the police and military as they rolled through Joshua Tree. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department says that deputies were requested to escort the Marine convoy to the Riverside County line as a precaution in case any issues arose. Further down Highway 62 near Hess Boulevard, one person was arrested during the escort after they stopped their pickup truck in the roadway, blocking the convoy and other traffic from traveling on the road. Cy Earl, 28, was arrested and released for obstruction of a public officer. The San Bernardino Sheriff's Department continued the escort until the Riverside County line, where Riverside County deputies took over the escort as the convoy continued toward Los Angeles. As of 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning, there were reports of some arrests overnight in Los Angeles, and the LA Times characterized the protests as calmer than Sunday night's demonstrations. Z107.7 reached out to the Twentynine Palms Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center for comment, but as of this morning, we've yet to hear back. We will continue to update this story as more details become available. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
A rollover crash on Old Woman Springs Road over the weekend is believed to have been caused by a distracted driver. On Saturday night at around 9:20 p.m., the California Highway Patrol says that Armando Mayorga, a 55-year-old Yucca Valley resident, was driving a gray Toyota Camry southbound on Old Woman Springs Road, south of La Brisa Drive. The CHP says Mayorga drove off the side of the road and lost control of his vehicle, rolling it over onto its rooftop. The CHP says Mayorga went home after the crash, where he was contacted by CHP and San Bernardino County Fire, who transported him via ambulance to High Desert Medical Center for injuries. The CHP said that Mayorga provided a statement indicating that he was using a cellular phone at the time of the crash and that the cause of the crash may have been distracted driving. Alcohol and drugs are not being considered as factors. The investigation is ongoing, and the CHP wants to remind drivers that distracted driving is a leading cause of crashes. That call or text can wait. The Landers Homestead Valley Association held their meeting last night. Annalise Kuiper was there and joins us with details.
The extensive Caltrans improvement project that involves repaving and widening the road continues along Highway 247. The section between Aberdeen Drive and the Wash south of Reachy Road will have 24-hour flagging operations until June 13th and on into the following week. San Bernardino County Battalion Fire Chief Viloria reported that there is currently a no-burn order, so no bonfires or trash burning. Barbecues and contained fires are permitted for cooking, but stay vigilant. Assistant Chief Villarino said that Fire Station 19 used to be a paid call station, manned by volunteers, but this program no longer exists as the training is too intensive. Morongo Basin Sheriff Station Sergeant Naylor informed the meeting that the investigation into the death of Lorraine Bird, the woman missing from 29 Palms who was found dead by the Painted Rocks in Johnson Valley, has been taken over by the homicide detail. He said her car had been found, but he could divulge no further details. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Annalise Kuiper.
The 29 Palms City Council meets tonight at 6 p.m. Annalise Kuiper rejoins us with a look at that agenda.
The City Council will consider the general fund budget, the special revenue funds budget, as well as the Project Phoenix funds and the sewer funds. These budgets are for fiscal years 2025-2026 and 2026-2027. Council will consider the amendments to the fee schedule for the reprint of a hard copy business license and to the Parks and Recreation fees on private swim parties at Lucky Park for more than 100 people. A proclamation will recognize the month of June 2025 as Juneteenth Independence Day, while June will also be recognized as LGBTQ+ Pride Month. There will be a presentation to the 29 Palms High School boys baseball team and to the 29 Palms Rotary for their participation in the Cash for Trash and Recycling program. Located at City Hall, 6136 Adobe Road in 29 Palms, the meeting begins at 6 p.m. As always, the public is encouraged to attend. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Annalise Kuiper.
The Yucca Valley Planning Commission will hold 3 public hearings at today's meeting, one of which concerns an overlay district for senior mobile home parks. Here's Adeline J. Wells with more on their agenda.
The Yucca Valley Planning Commission meeting will begin with 3 public hearings. The first concerns a variance request for a single-family residence at 57461 Bandera Road. The applicant requests to reduce the front setback line to 20 feet from the 50 feet required by the Development Code. The second hearing concerns a proposed ordinance that would amend the Development Code to add a senior mobile home park overlay district. In December 2023, the Town Council adopted a 45-day moratorium on the conversion of seniors-only mobile home parks to all ages, defined in which 80% of full-time residents are age 55 and older. The moratorium has since been extended twice while town staff researched a permanent zoning solution. 4 of the town's 7 mobile home parks currently meet the threshold requirements for a seniors-only park: the Country Club Mobile Estates, the Aztec Mobile Home Park, the Gates of Spain Mobile Estates, and the Apache Mobile Home Park. The proposed ordinance would create an overlay district consisting of these 4 parks. The third hearing concerns an ordinance that would update zoning districts and maps to reflect the current local responsibility area fire hazard severity zone map from CAL FIRE, which identifies zones as very high, high, and moderate risk. The Planning Commission will also receive the Land Development Update. Tonight's meeting is open to the public and begins at 6 p.m. at the Yucca Valley Community Center. Reporting for Z107.7, this is Adeline J. Wells.
And finally, Gregory Lloyd Barber, 68, of 29 Palms, passed away unexpectedly on May 27th. Greg was born on November 21st, 1956 in Ohio. He was a lifelong resident of 29 Palms and graduated from 29 Palms High School. While there, he played many sports, including baseball, football, basketball, and track and field. Greg joined the U.S. Coast Guard in 1977 and retired as a telephone technician petty officer first class in 1997 after 20 years of service. During his time in the Coast Guard, Greg sailed the world, including Antarctica, Europe, Asia, and Alaska. After the Coast Guard, Greg returned to 29 Palms, where he began work for the school district. He became a permanent presence at 29 Palms High School, first as the attendance clerk, then later as the administrative assistant. Greg retired from the Morongo Unified School District in June of 2023. Greg was known as a practical joker, sparing no one. He loved his Green Bay Packers and New York Yankees, and he regularly wore his team's logos and colors with pride. He is survived by his sons, Andy and Jeff, his brothers, Ed and Scott, his sister Gail, and his father Harold. He leaves behind 5 grandchildren aged 16 to 3 years old. A memorial service is planned for July 12th at 10:30 a.m. at First Baptist Church at 6414 Split Rock Avenue in 29 Palms. In lieu of flowers, memorial contributions can be made at a link in this story at Z107.7fm.com. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News. I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.